Hi guys, Jamie Fluke here for Apex Racing Academy. This is our Mugello track guide for the Mercedes-AMG GT4 for week 5 of the Sports Car Challenge by Falcon Tyre. We're in the wet this week, so this should be really good fun. As well as these track guides, we're also giving away the Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack for free this season, and that features your setups, so qualifying and race setups, the reference lap files, so that's your B lap and O lap files, the replay files as well, and then access to our group coaching sessions held on a Tuesday evening. All you have to do is go to apexracingac.com. There's a link in the description to get yourself the data pack for free for the rest of the season. In regards to the circuit this week, of course, it is wet, a 90% chance of rain, so that's pretty likely that we're going to have a bit of a slip and slide here. It's good fun. The Mercedes has a really nice direct front end, but if the car does let go and if you end up on a part of the track that you shouldn't, it can bite you pretty hard. So a bit of caution and a bit of patience around here will serve you really, really well. But without further ado, let's get stuck into the lap. Another reminder, guys, that you can get this season's Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack for free over at apexracingac.com or by following the link in the description below. So, into the lap here at Mugello. So, fairly long run up towards turn 1. Initially keeping the car over to the left-hand side and spotting the 100 board and even this white line sort of denoting where the pit lane exit ends. So using that as a guide and a reference, we're going to dive really aggressively towards the inside here and braking sort of how you would in the drive, so strong threshold braking, and then aiming the car to the inside. Note where the track is lighter in texture. That's where there is no grip to be found. The darker stuff is where you want to be placing your car. So I'm trying to sort of angle the car in and spending as much time on the brakes on the way in, on the grippy stuff, and then straighten the car out ever so slightly to cut through the slippery line. We're going to have to do that at some point anyway, so that I can find the grippy stuff towards the middle and outside of the circuit, rotate the car, and then get the car squared off and drive off the corner. So it'll look a little something like this, just sort of bleeding out of the brake, feathering on the brake as well, just to make sure that I don't lose control of the car, and then out nice and wide here. And from this point, I will try and rotate the car like so. Gently does it, square it off as quick as I can. The car will be a little bit floaty here no matter what I do, and then looking towards the inside again for maximum grip, and then also setting the car up for turn 2. I could arc the car wider if it was in the dry, but we don't have the grip then to consistently bring the car across, so this is what we are resorting to in this particular scenario. So over to the right hand side we come. Turn 2, So this is pretty similar to how we would take it in the dry. Feed the car in, pretty gentle on the brake, just slightly less curved than you would potentially take in the dry. So just keeping the car away from the anti-cut curb here. Gently does it with the throttle pickup and allow the car to rotate on that inside curb. And then an early turn in for turn 3 is really important. We can't really consistently hit the apex from a wider approach here because we have to cut through the slippery line. So trying to get the car onto the inside curb, which does offer a surprising amount of grip, is going to be our best bet here. So just gently coerce the car in. I have grabbed second as well, just to try and make sure the nose tucks in. You could leave it in third just purely for traction reasons, but you can see I'm modulating the brake here, just trying to make sure that the car goes exactly where I want it to. Once onto the inside curb, gently does it with the throttle pickup, and we'll grab third on corner exit. And speaking of corner exit, as long as the car is pretty straight, you can use the exit curves, but I would stay well away from the paint on corner exit where humanly possible. Over towards the right hand side, but not the whole way across, for turns 4 and then eventually turn 5. If we brake entirely on the racing line here, we don't have really any grip on the brakes on the way in. You can get the car stopped and you can get the car turned in, but you have very little control and consistency with the car. Conversely, if you brake hard over to the left-hand side, what happens is you have great braking performance, but no line then through the corner. You're so cramped on the inside here. So I kind of brake in between the two. I don't have perfect braking performance here, and it's quite slippery on the right side wheels, but that also allows the car to rotate really nicely on the way in. So it'll take a bit of practice to get that right, and a feel for the brake pressure. I'm braking just over 50% here, but that's how I like to try and attack the entry here. This time I am taking more of the inside curb here, and the paint, and the car will wash wide, but then I pick up more grip again later in the corner. So just turning in early allows me just to carry a little bit more mid-corner speed here. So again, on exit, we're a little bit wider than we would be in the dry, but that's so that we can get earlier onto the curb and use that to rotate the car rather than just the natural line through the corner. Again, generally trying to stay off of the anti-cut curbs there on the inside. You can grab them if you're stuck, and you end up taking more than you expect, but I think it is a little bit quicker just to stay off them. And then again on exit, okay, yes, I'm sliding a little bit more than what is maybe optimal on exit, but I wasn't engaging the traction control, and that's an important thing as well. You don't really want to be leaning into it too much, and so we're still able to get a pretty good exit. So that's the end of the first sector. Into sector 2. A similar sort of braking approach for turn 6. Braking pretty much as soon as I can see the curb comfortably on the right hand side in terms of the apex. Braking well away from the white line, of course. I could brake more optimally further to the right, but again, you end up with no real line through the corner. And I don't mind if the back end slides a little bit on entry here. It gets the nose tucked in, and as long as I don't overcommit on the way in, then the car can take it. Again, loads of inside curb here, and we'll let the car sort of wash out a little bit. Really gentle there with our throttle, and actually all of our inputs. So if we're going over a slippery surface, we want to just minimize our throttle and brake. If we've got steering applied, then fine. Or if we're in a dead straight line, and we have equal grip across all 4 tires, then it's fine. But with varying grip levels from tire to tire, we want to try and keep the inputs pretty gentle here. So again, wider through the first part of a complex than we would in the dry, so that again we can grab inside curb and not spend as much time in the slippery stuff. This inside curb though, I think is the most critical to get right of all of them. There's plenty of grip sort of middling of, or the middle part of the exit of the corner here. If you run too far wide, then you slide into more and more slippery stuff, and then you just have no exit, or you end up running wide here. So it's a really fine margin. It's really important to keep it nice and tight here, and keep the left side wheels on the darker stuff on the way through here, and that should allow you to pick up an aggressive full throttle. Into the 2 Arabiatas. So braking pretty early here actually, and then taking the wide line through here. It's cambered, which does help as well, and all of the grip is towards the outside of the corner. Again, the shiny stuff in the middle of the road here is a no-go with the loaded wheels here. So left side wheels in the grippy stuff, just patience with the throttle, and then just making sure that we get the car squared off before we entertain the outside curb on exit. Through the second hour about it, so this is actually a mistake on the lap. I am on the white line as I brake and turn in here, so therefore what happens is I have a big snap of oversteer. I was able to gather it up, but it did cost me about a tenth or so, so I would advise just staying off of the curb on entry here. But the same sort of idea and approach, just from third gear this time. Left side wheels on the grippy stuff. The right side wheels don't really need that much grip here. All of the load is on the left side wheels. On exit, again, if you can get it straightened quickly enough, you can use the red, white and green curbing on exit. In towards turn 10, where the white mark is in the tyre stack on the right hand side is a good guide for getting onto the brakes. And again, we're taking that sort of half a car length to a car length or so margin to the left hand side of the circuit here, just to prioritize our braking performance. Starting the third and then second gear, once again turning in early. It's very slippery through here. There's a little compression here just on the apex, so standing water tends to accumulate a little bit quicker here. So we just need to be careful about that. There's no point in taking like a wet line through a corner like this, because you have no line then through the right hander and you're not really carrying extra speed through here. You're taking such a long way through the corner and the speed's a lot lower as well, so it's just less beneficial. So in terms of our line here, it's a little bit more traditional. Again, super important to turn in early here. If you turn in too late and try to get a straighter exit earlier, you end up just on too much of the slippery stuff and will probably spin. So you just have to sort of take your medicine here, turn in nice and early. Gently does it with the throttle, avoid the anti-cuts and sort of fight the car on the way through here. It's a really difficult corner to get spot on. And so up towards the final sector we come. Similar sort of approach in terms of braking for turn 12 here as we did for turn 1, so diving through the slippery, shallow, diving through the slippery line with a shallow approach. And then once we come out the other side, we can pick up the throttle, try and let the car rotate, and then tuck back underneath once again. So patience with the throttle here, find that grip on the inside, and fight the car in towards it so we can accelerate hard off the corner. In towards the fast chicane, turns 13 and 14, so turning in nice and early. This time we are going to use the paint on the inside. There's no nice way of getting through here, sadly. You could like stay much wider here, but it's just not beneficial. So the car will aquaplane almost through the left, but we need to do that so that we can open up the right enough that we can attack that with a little bit more aggression. So up into fourth, and truthfully maybe just a little bit too much off the inside there, so again a little bit of a slide through here and I lost a little bit of drive off the corner. Right side wheels certainly still on the inside curb, and the left side wheels definitely on the tarmac should give you a reasonable run through here. On exit, try and stay off the outside curb if you can help it, and then we'll set up the final corner where again we'll approach from sort of middle of the circuit, dive it nice and straight, braking just before the 50 board, and braking as much of a straight line as possible to maximize our braking efficiency. And then try and let the car sort of slide through the slippery stuff, back onto the grip, and then pick up the throttle and keep it sort of middling of the circuit here for the shortest run out of the corner. Once we have some stability, we can crunch the throttle, grab third gear, and then track out, again trying to avoid the outside curb. From here, it's a fairly long run to the line, and that's a lap of Mugello in the wet in the Mercedes-AMG GT4. Thanks for watching. Make sure to go over to apexracingac.com for your free Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack. For further questions and info, join our Discord server, which you can access with your subscription. And we also host a group coaching session on a Tuesday evening, so make sure to check the details of that in the Mercedes-AMG GT4 car channel once you've signed up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.